Good evening, Internet. It's my second official Friday update. I may look a little bit dishevelled and a little bit knackered because I've had about 3 hours sleep and the weather today has been an unexpected 28 degrees. So it's been hot, it's been exhausting and a little bit emotionally trying. We've had some more, it's unrelated to the workshop, but we've had some more news about my mum's medical issues, which I won't go into on YouTube, but they're still serious, but there's been some borderline good news, so that's a little bit weight off the minds. But it has been a bit of a stressful week, so unfortunately, for all I said last week about, it'd be a bad thing if I didn't have anything to really talk about this week, then, well, yeah, not a lot's got done. Not a lot has got done. There's been a lot of family things to take care of. My brother's moved out, and the issue with the cat. The cat has now been spayed. I'll tag that to the end of the video. She's doing alright though, for her first sort of 12 hours. And yeah, but there have been some good things have turned up. I mean, I've managed to get in contact with Edwards Vacuum. They produce vacuum pumps, manifolds, and so on. And I'll be managed to get hold of the manual, the PDF datasheet basically for the diffusion pump that got donated to the London Hackspace. So hopefully from that we'll be able to find a cheaper pump fluid than the Santovac 5. The Santovac 5, if you follow on probably don't follow on the mailing list, but on the Hackspace mailing list talk about this, and Santovac 5 is the advised pump fluid for the Edwards EO4 pump. But it's also £2.20 per milliliter and needs 175 millilitres. And since you're only getting 100ml bottles as a minimum, then you've got about a 440 quid bill if you want to top the pump right up. So I've been hoping to find an alternative. And thanks to the datasheet, there are, I think, 5 or 6 different fluids it's compatible with. We haven't gone through and found a price for them all yet, but it's a start. You may also notice, you can see one hand here, the other hand is holding the camera. Maybe a little bit wobbly, but last week trying it with the fig rig was just useless. It really was. It just was all over the place. Workshop-wise, not a lot has got done. The place is a mess. Even more so than last week. The monitor's up on the wall now. Computer's down there. That's hooked up and working. I forgot I'd installed Kubuntu on it. But I'm probably going to install Wine on it and run any CAD software, Windows CAD software needed on it through Linux, because I just fed up with reinstalling Windows over and over again, and frankly it's faster to install Linux than it is to do XP and then do all the updates. And plus, I ought to get more hands-on experience running it. But yeah, that works out quite nicely, and it does actually avoid the alarm system, so I might be able to do something like that. That still hasn't moved. The horns I have actually been de-waxing, because unfortunately these first set here I tried went wrong for a couple of reasons. First being that up until last night basically, the weather has got so cold, the silicon, it was not curing. In fact, this bit here I didn't put any more and it's still tacky, gluey, kind of like half cured PVA glue. You can see it's just beading up, sticking to itself, becoming a mass. It's peeling away, horrible stuff. And that happened with the thin first coating on this set of horns. You might still note there's little bits of blue here and there. And the only way I could get that to cure was to heat the workshop itself right up, because these won't fit in the cabinet, and paint it with more of the silicon catalyst to sort of force it to cure, and peel it off because it was a horrible layer. It still wasn't. So they need cleaning, they need refinishing. I need to get the. See, the second problem is I need to get the polyurethane varnish off them again, because I used a layer of wax that was too thick to preserve them, so the actual varnish hasn't stuck to it properly, so it peels off in places, and you don't want that. I don't know if it's was this one. One of the two here had it more noticeable than the other, and it with a on a multicoloured item like this, you don't notice at first, but when you get a casting off it, you'll notice it, because it will be one colour, and you'll be able to see. Where was it? I've lost the. Oh yeah, just where my thumb is actually. You may or may not be able to see that. there's a small white ring to the right hand side of my thumb there, where it's bubbled and peeled away, which is just, you really don't want it. By running some experiments, it's actually I bought a pot of furniture wax remover, which has worked quite nicely, and I've been starting going over them all. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to revarnish them, and the revarnishing test has come up a lot nicer. Of all things, it's not actually good. You don't actually get the best results doing it with a paintbrush, because I have a load of cheap paintbrushes over there. But the best result I've actually had so far has been with the toothbrush. It's got short, stiff bristles. You can sort of force the varnish into the grain, so it's giving the grain itself a shine rather than leaving the grain up to the bristles and a softer brush. So that's worked out quite nicely. But the best thing that's happened this week so far has probably been that I've got the cabinet running again. Again, with the cold temperatures, I don't want the resins I've got to spoil. I did actually receive some more in the post which haven't gone in there yet. They're sitting in the hallway in the house, because I don't want to bring down here while it's too cold. But I had been using the oil-filled radiator down there, which is just, it's 700 watts. It's excessive for a sealed insulated cabinet just to keep it warm, and the temperature would vary. So it's got a big old thermostat on it. It's just, it lagged behind so much. But the intent had been for a long time to put in a small anti-condensation heater, which is a ceramic bar heater. It's only 80 watts in a metal cage down the bottom there. Obviously that takes up a lot less space, and it actually fits in the recess, because you've got the step in the base of the cabinet here, where the compressor for the fridge is behind there. So it fits quite nicely in the front there, with a little condensation trap just in the corner there. So what I did over the last few days is run cable up through the back, up through the what would have taken the temperature sensor, the sealed line, a pressure line, up through the back, behind that grill, up through and out the top here. Now this looks like a complete mess, and it is because the only switches I had that were mains rated that I had to hand were some old light switches, so they're just sitting around. If I turn on power, I can turn the compressor on, which turns on a rear fan as well. The rear fan just cools the radiator on the back. But that will turn on the compressor if I need to get the temperature down, which might be good in summer. You might be able to hear that. Starts right up. I won't let it run too long because I don't want it to get cold. There's a heating switch there which turns the bar heater on. No point doing that because it's already 23 degrees in there, and ideally I want to get this so it self-regulates to about 20. And of course I've got the fan, which is behind the grill there, which just circulates. And I hope you can't hear that, because I actually replaced the one that was already in there. Well, actually, the second replacement. That was the one that came with it. And the one over there was the one I put in, which is much wider and runs on a DC motor that I've modified onto it. You'll see that on the crossflow fan win and fail videos. But yeah, when I powered this thing up, it was rattling and vibrating horribly. So I took another fan which came out of an oven, which ran a lot nicer, and just went straight in. Perfect fit, same size, maybe a slightly different make or something, but yeah, it works lovely. Off and off. Obviously that wiring loom needs to be tidied up. Ultimately there'll be a mains power switch, indicator lights for what will be running, and I've run a bit of Cat 5 through there, so I've got some low voltage cable going inside, which will run to a couple of temperature sensors, possibly humidity sensors as well. One at the top, one at the bottom, to watch out for temperature differential. So if the temperature differential is too great, it turns on the circulating fan, recirculates the air until the air is there's an acceptable, it's more or less the same temperature all the way through, and then it can turn on the heater element if it's too low, and obviously turn on the cooler if it's too hot. I'm hoping I can get away with them out fighting each other if I give enough leeway. But that's a project for future. At the moment, it's all wired up to mains, and I can. It cools down slow enough that I can get away with doing it by hand at the moment, though I also want to automate it later on. And 80 watts there, I can get away with using some of the relay boards, or one of the relays up there. Well, a couple of the relays, one for the fan, one for the... because the heater's 80 watts and the fan in there I believe is 30 watts. I don't know what the compressor load is, but I can really hook the watt meter up to it and just find out. But that's pretty much all that's been going on here. There's a big mess, load of things popping in on and off eBay. With a bit of luck, tomorrow I'm going to be... Oh, don't want to be another anonymous face behind the camera. I'm not playing Half-Life. But hopefully next week, if not before then, providing I win a couple of very interesting auctions that I won't let up about tomorrow, I should have some more interesting items to go over during the week. Hopefully. They're quite cute little things, and there should be a lot of interest to play with if I can get them at a reasonable price. And I think that'll do for now. Here's some video of the cat. Who's been a good kitty? Who's been a very good girl? You've been well behaved, you didn't bite or scratch anyone. No more kittens for you. You have your current lot back in a couple of days. You're a bit more healed. Oh, that tiny little scar though. Tiny little incision, you never believe it. Oh, you do look silly or shaved. You've been such a good girl. Such a good girl. Yes, you have. And your side's all fuzzy. With the head of that guy from Right Said Fred.